Alright guys, so I'm going to attempt to make my first YouTube video. I watch all the channels, Gabco, Nothing Fancy, Cutlery Lover, all those guys. Making YouTube videos seems like a lot of fun, so I'm going to show you my 6 favorite knives. I saw this series of videos, just about everybody did one, so I thought I'd give you all my 2 cents. These knives are in the order that I got them. So not in the order, favorite to least or anything like that. But I'm just going to show you in the order that I got them, and I'll tell you a little bit about each one. So the first one is just Victorinox, Swiss Army. I think this one may actually be Winger, I'm not sure. But it's the Boy Scout edition. Gift from my grandfather. This is actually my first knife ever. Got it when I was about 8, and let me tell you, out of every tool on this knife, that right there built more forts and cut down more trees than the saw I have in my garage right now, probably. Had a lot of fun with this knife when I was a kid. A few cuts. Mainly learned a lot. I don't know if you can barely see, but the blade has almost a natural stone wash. It's got so many scratches on it. Although it is still fairly shiny. But yeah, a lot of fun. I'm sorry I don't know the exact name of this knife, but it has the 2 screwdrivers and bottle opener. It has scissors, which when I was a kid I didn't care so much about, but now I realize that this is actually a very, very good pair of scissors, and just to avoid losing or abusing this knife too much, I put it in the gun cleaning kit and just cut patches or a little something like that with it so it stays fairly clean and not abused. Has a little screwdriver and the sewing hook on the back. Anyways, that was my first knife. Didn't know at the time that I was addicted to knives, but found out shortly after. Second knife I ever got, the knife I got, well, it's not second knife. There was many in between there, but this is probably the one that started my addiction to knives. This is the Buck Vantage. This is the paper stone version. As you can see, the pocket clip fairly scratched up. Carried this knife for a long time, all through college. Thing I like about this knife is it's so smooth. Again, almost the natural stone wash going on the top there. I don't know if sorry, I'm filming this on my iPad, so it's not the best in the world, but still wicked sharp. Of course, I touch it up whenever necessary. I never let my knives get too dull. Spyderco Sharp Maker does a good job of keeping them sharp. This is just 420HC, and like I said, I carried this all through college. I know a lot of guys, they pick different knives and put a different one in their pocket every day. Well, I'm a little bit different. When I find one that I like, I tend to carry it for years and years and years, and this one still I would carry. But I did find one that I liked a little bit better, so I decided I would retire. It is somewhat collectible to me anyway, being the paper stone. It's kind of neat. Mine seem to be a little bit darker than other people's, but I think that may have something to do with having carried it for so long. See, the liner lock is still in good shape. Way, way early lockup. Solid as a rock, this knife is still. So I'd carry it any day. No questions asked. The ball detent on this knife is just really stiff, and I like that. I keep my knives probably far more stiff than anyone else. I don't know why. I don't mind having to put a little wrist action into it to open it, or just opening it normally, because that tends to scare people a little less, especially in school and in the business and everything like that. Sometimes it's good not to just flick your favorite knife out. But anyway, that's a Buck Vantage. That's what started my addiction for knives. Next knife is a fixed blade. This is my I wouldn't say it's my primary hunting knife, but this goes along in the truck, and this is the original case that it came in. I don't know if you can see it. Hadn't had a lot of use. There's some water damage stuff going on around over here, and that was one trip out. It was good and cold, and I think it froze on there, and well, needless to say, I made a Kydex sheath for it, and that one is just strapped to my backpack that I take hunting. It's at least in the truck. So skinned out several deer, a fox with this knife. It was a little bit of a challenge with the fox because it's a bit big. This is a buck ergo hunter. It is heavy. It's quite a thick slab, but to me this knife is gorgeous. The ergonomics on it is great. They call it the ergo hunter for a reason, and it does. It really just fits in your hand perfectly. So if you can handle the weight, then this is top-notch knife. This blade is actually I don't know a whole lot about it. I think it's 12C27M. Don't know exactly anything about that blade still. It does have the Paul Bowes heat treat. I know that's definitely a good thing. If I were to have one complaint about this knife, it would be that the tip is just not sharp at all. I mean, you know, shouldn't be able to do that. I'm sure I could restore it if I wanted to, but it pretty much came like this, and you know, it's a skinning knife, so it doesn't necessarily have to have a razor sharp tip. But if it were my choice and I made it, I would definitely put a better tip on it. Made in the USA. So that's a good deal. Next knife, probably seen a lot of guys, or at least its bigger brother you've seen, I know a lot. It's a Delica 4 Spyderco. Love the blue color. I carry this knife. This is the one knife I do rotate in and out with a little bit. This knife and the next knife, kind of depending on whether I'm going out and going to be in the office or not, where I may abuse a blade. And, you know, not to say I won't use it. I'll open a package or cut cardboard or whatever has to be done. But, love that blade shape. VG10 steel, it does great for me. I touch up my knives whenever possible and never really let them get dull. So, really, I don't have a complaint about as far as edge retention on any blade steel, but you know, VG10 definitely. The one thing I do love about it is the rust resistance. You sit down in a chair for a long time, get a little sweaty action going on. I do carry knives in my back pocket, so this blade won't rust on me. First day I ever had my Tenacious, which is not in this video. Rust spots all down the blade, so that's not good. So really like VG10, really like this knife, love this color. Bought my girlfriend the purple one. She keeps it in her purse every day. I mean, can't say enough good about this knife. Again, I have to put a little wrist action into it because I keep my knives really tight. Don't want them flying open. Generally, I don't flick them when I'm out just because it's a little more aggressive than some people like to see out in public and everything. But, of course, on the couch, I'll put a little wrist flick into it and get it out. Still comes out great. No problem. Just mine is tighter than probably most people's. The next knife is actually almost identical to that knife. It's the Bird Meadowlark 2. Again, FRN. This knife I think I paid $18 for it. If you don't know a good place to get knives and Defense Depot in Florida. Great place, great guy. Danny, the guy that runs it, awesome guy. Highly recommend going down there. If he doesn't have it, he can get it for you. This knife I abuse and abuse and abuse. You can't see it because I polished it out, but even giving this a couple of spine whacks with a hammer because I didn't feel like walking across the construction site to cut a little piece of trim, so I just put it down, pow, pop the back of it, and just cut it with my knife. So good sharp blade. This is that 8CR 13 MOV, so it will rust, so I do keep rim oil on it. Put it on there almost every other day that I carry it, just to make sure that I don't get any little rust spots on this one like I did my Tenacious. I was really not happy about that. You can see the pocket clip definitely got some little wear on it. Now this knife, when I got it, compared to this knife, you can see the edges still are not even close to as round on this guy as on the Spyderco, and that's to be expected. This is a $50 knife, this is a $20 knife, so no surprises there. All I did was I took it apart and I just sanded the edges. You know, I started with 110 and sanded very little bit actually, and just went all the way around both sides. Then went back with 220 all the way around both sides, and then actually hit it with 400, and then, you know, it's plenty smooth. You can't see any sanding lines or anything. I'm sorry, screen is very grainy. My camera is filming this on the iPad, but this is a good knife. I carry this one now almost every day, unless, like I said, I'm just not gonna be piece of string. Not gonna be out on the construction side, or gonna be more in the office, or just, you know, out on the town, out shopping or whatever. But this one gets a whole lot of use and a whole lot of sharpening. Love this knife. Definitely $20 well spent. You can get this on Amazon, $20, $21 maybe. I don't have the G10 version. I kind of want to get it. I understand that it's heavier, which I like the lightweight knife, but I feel like the G10 texturing might be a little bit better than this. I don't know how I feel about this bi-textural jimping texture, but you know, it's alright. No complaints. Still love this knife. Carry it all the time. The last one, the most recent knife I got, which was still, you know, a couple of months ago, but this is a knife that probably will never get carried other than just to show. But Spyderco Citadel. This is the small version, the little brother. I think it's 82 millimeter. Lightning fast. This knife is a chunk. Of course, the Delica is a very thin knife, but just if you compare them side by side, you can see that this one is probably a third wider than the Delica. So this is a chunk. It's all full aluminum construction. S30V blade. Great blade. I love this blade shape. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make a fixed blade with this pretty much very same blade shape, just a little bit longer, and see how I like that. But love this blade shape. This, like I said, this thing wicked fast. Unfortunately, they don't make it anymore. Now they make the Embassy, which I don't like the looks of it as well. And also the blade has less belly. It's more of just a straight, like reverse tanto style of blade. I don't like it quite as much, or the looks of it. I've never actually even held it, but just the looks of it I didn't like as much, so I went ahead and got this, which was the last one on the shelf. And this one's pretty much going to sit on the shelf and just be fondled. Beautiful knife though. Really enjoy playing with it, showing it off to buddies. It's great for that. I know some of you hate to hear it, and some of you can totally agree. You know, spend over $100 on a knife. I'm not financially to the point where I can afford to carry a knife like that all day, every day, and abuse it a little bit. But hey, one day maybe. So never say never. Anyway,